the LC channel. My name is Pam, and today I'm going to be talking about cultural faux pas. The phrase faux pas comes from French, and it means to do something or say something that is awkward or embarrassing in a social situation. Faux pas can be particularly difficult because something that might be perfectly acceptable in your home country might be considered rude and inappropriate here. The first faux pas that I want to talk about are the three forbidden numbers. That is age, weight, and income. In general, in the US, you don't want to comment on someone's body, but age and weight are particularly sensitive. Age is sensitive because no one likes to admit they're getting older, and younger people don't like to admit how young they are in case someone decides not to take them seriously. If you say that you're only 20 years old, someone's going to be like, oh, well, you don't have experience, so you don't know what you're talking about. So sometimes it's better to just kind of keep that on the down low and not talk about it. Even if it's your professor's birthday or your boss's birthday, you just shouldn't ask. Weight is also particularly sensitive. If you're familiar with someone and you know that they've been working out, that they've been training really hard, saying, oh, you look great, you've lost weight, is perfectly acceptable. But if you're not familiar with the person or you don't know that they've been trying to lose weight, saying, oh, you look skinnier, have you lost weight, can make them feel like you're saying, well, you were kind of fat and maybe you need to lose some weight. So just try to avoid that. The third number, income, is also very sensitive. If people make more money than you, they don't want to make you feel bad by saying that. They might also be afraid that once you know they make more, then you're going to start asking them for favors. Oh, I forgot my credit card. Can you pay for drinks tonight? Or can you pay for dinner tonight? If they make less than you and they find out, that can be embarrassing for them too. They don't want to admit that they don't make as much as you. The next group of faux pas that I want to talk about relate to classroom and business settings. If you are going to a meeting or if you have class that says it starts at 11, that means it starts at 11. The speaker will start talking at 11. So you want to get there 5 to 10 minutes early to make sure you have a seat, make sure that you're settled, that you have water if you need it, all of your bags are taken care of. If you arrive late, take the seat closest to the door so that you don't disrupt anyone else, and try to be as quiet as possible. The same thing applies if you have to leave early. If you know the meeting is going to last an hour and a half, but you have to leave early, even if you get there and the entire room is empty, sit next to the door. That way when you leave, you don't bother anyone else. You also want to make sure that you never speak over the speaker. Try not to play with your cell phone, especially if it's a small setting and they can see you. And no matter what you do, never walk between the speaker and the material that they are presenting, or between the speaker and the audience. The next set of faux pas that I want to talk about is maybe the most important because it involves something that you do every single day, and that is eating. Especially when you're out at restaurants with your coworkers or your classmates, or at a job interview if there happens to be food or any social situation. There are a lot of things you have to be careful of. First and foremost, don't chew with your mouth open. If you take a bite of food that's too hot or you took too big of a bite and you need to make it more manageable, cover your mouth with your hands for a few bites, and once you have it under control, take your hand away. Sometimes it happens too that if you are having a conversation with someone, they'll ask you a question right as you put food in your mouth. And you're going to feel compelled to answer because it feels rude to not answer. But I promise it is more rude to speak with food in your mouth than it is to make your friend wait for a minute while you clear out your mouth. Another thing to be aware of when you're eating out at restaurants is that you have to be polite to the waitstaff. In some countries, it's acceptable to snap at them or to wave your hand at them to get their attention, but you can't do that here. Waitstaff rely on tips to make most of their wages, so they're going to be paying attention to you. If you need something, just wait a minute or two and they should come by and ask how everything is, and then you can tell them what you need. If the waitstaff is not paying too much attention and you really need something, try to make eye contact with them as they're walking by, and that will usually be enough to bring them over to your table. Remember, even though they are at your service, you still have to treat them with respect. The third thing about eating at restaurants is to be mindful of using the serving utensils. If you have a shared dish that everyone is eating out of, the waitstaff should bring a spoon or something that you can put it on your plate and then use your own utensils to eat. Don't use your own fork to grab something out of the middle. If you don't get serving utensils and you want some, just ask the waitstaff. They'll bring it out for you. The same thing is true at buffets. If there's bread or rolls or something, they'll usually provide a set of tongs. Use the tongs to pick it up and then put it on your plate. Don't use your hands. Especially if you're sick, or even if you aren't, people will worry that you're sick and that you're getting your germs all over the other food and they won't want to eat it. Another faux pas around eating is called double dipping. It's when you take a bite of something and then you put it the same side back into the dip. If you take a bite out of a cracker or a piece of carrot and you want to go for more dip, turn it over and use the side that you didn't bite off of and put that in the dip. If you're left with a little bit in the middle, try to get a spoon or a fork or a knife to put the dip on the middle section. But if there aren't any, you're just going to have to eat it without dip. Okay, the last faux pas I want to talk about involves what we call situational awareness, or being aware of what is happening around you. This is particularly important if you are walking and texting at the same time, or if you need to stop and check your Google Maps. If you're lost or disoriented, like if you just get off of the metro and you're not sure if you need to go right or left, don't stop at the top of the escalator, don't stop dead in the middle of the sidewalk. Move off to the side, take a few steps out of the way, and then try to orient yourself. And speaking of escalators, in DC it is especially important that you remember stand right, walk left. If you want to stand on the escalator, you stand to the right side. If you're going to go up the escalator, you walk up the left side. If someone is standing on the left, feel free to say, "Excuse me." They should move over and make room for you. That's it for today. Remember, if you have any questions or suggestions, click on the link below. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again next time here on the LC channel.